All right, hello everyone. I am DeWitt Wesson, the Community Relations Associate at Aljoya Thornton Place. Um, Before we start today's presentation, I would like to share a little bit about our community. So Aljoya Thornton Place is located in North Seattle, and we will be celebrating our 12-year anniversary this year. We have a variety of apartment layouts, a full-service dining room, and innovative and active life enrichment activity calendars. We sit on Thornton Creek, which is accessible for our residents to walk and enjoy green space just steps outside of our building. We're also in close proximity to numerous medical facilities, the public library, and the community center. We're excited for the upcoming changes to the area and look forward to learning more about it. We're currently offering in-person and virtual visits and would be happy to answer any questions you may have, and we can be reached at 206-306-7920. And now for our main event, we are honored to host Sarah Lovell, who will be presenting on the Northgate Redevelopment Project update. Sarah is King County's transit-oriented development project manager. Sorry. She currently oversees the programs and is working to develop policy and strategic planning tools to better integrate best practices for equitable transit-oriented thinking into transit planning and real estate portfolio management at Metro. That was a mouthful, sorry.
Sorry, my fault. Yeah, thank you. All right, I'm going to try to share my screen. So everybody, let's all hope this goes well. Let's see. Just 1 minute. Okay. Sorry about this. This is just, there we go. Okay. Now, not to jump too far, I'm going to go to the beginning of this presentation because that feels important. Thank you guys so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. It's always fun to talk about projects, especially projects that are in construction. Just 1 minute, I want to get to the presentation view, so hold on. These technical challenges, everybody, I'm sure everyone is living with them, but let's see here. My screen sharing is paused. That's not what I want. Let's go here in presentation mode and we will be. Okay, can folks see me? Can everyone see my screen? Let's see. Okay, so I am here today to talk about King County's transit-oriented development project located at the what is currently the Northgate Transit Center in the Park and Ride lot. And also to give a little bit of context, I think as part of my introduction, you just heard that I run the transit-oriented development program for King County Metro. And for those that are sort of wondering what that means or what that is, transit-oriented development is really mixed-use commercial development that is designed in a way that takes advantage of easy and close proximity to transit access, to great transit access, so that the way these projects look and feel are very pedestrian oriented. They are intended to really create or recreate a really pedestrian driven community fabric. And so, you know, I now work at King County Metro. Before coming to Metro, I worked for Sound Transit doing the same work. And as a transit agency, all these transit agencies, we own property that really is in service of the region and creating regional connectivity. It also means that we have an opportunity to really be a major part of community development. So with that, I wanted to give everybody a little bit of context. You guys probably know this better than I do, but you'll see sort of in the middle of that map is our site, labeled site. And then, you know, that is directly south of the Northgate Mall, which I think most folks know is undergoing a major redevelopment. Right next to our site, adjacent to it, is a new transit roadway and the Northgate Link Station, which is planned to open this fall. Also, this community is benefited by Thornton Creek.
Sarah, I'm going to interrupt you 1 second. I think you're not present. Your presentation is not showing up on the.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's not good. I can see it, and it says, oh, but it says my screen sharing is paused.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can restart it. Ooh, resume share. There you go. Oh no. Well, shoot. I'm trying to, hold on just a minute. When I go to the presentation, do you see that now?
There we go. Now we see it. Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, so see, nothing is without bumps, I suppose, but we're just gonna, I'll just keep on going. So, so now that you all can see what I was talking about, it's just to set a little context for the site that I'm going to be talking about in a little more detail. But effectively, the King County Metro's park and ride facility at Northgate is really well positioned, and similar to Aljoya, you know, because it's so close. There are a number of major development projects that are happening right around our project, which will really benefit the neighborhood and also sort of increases the impact that redevelopment will have in the community, which is great. Additional context, there are, well, everyone I think is familiar with the Target. They say it's new, it's not that new at this point, but in addition to the Target that is just on the other side north of the Northgate Mall, there are a number of multifamily projects that are very, very close to that the Target site. It's just on the other side of 3rd Avenue. And then in the bottom left-hand corner is a picture of the NHL facility, which is expected to open next fall. Or no, I'm sorry, expected to open actually this summer, but next fall is when they'll actually have a team using the facility. So that's very soon, sooner than our project. This is just, again, a little bit more context setting. You'll see outlined in red is the King County Metro Park and Ride site. And the blue is the project that I'm talking about today. So Northgate for King County has undergone a number of iterations. We've actually been seeking a developer, or we've issued 2 requests. The latest one was in 2018. And at that time, we had hoped to develop the entire park and ride facility. As it stands today, we're moving forward with just one of the 3 buildings for now, and we expect a phase 2 sort of right after we are done negotiating the contract for the project that I'm going to talk about in just a bit. So for those that haven't seen these, GGLO put these together. This is some of the visioning exercises that, you know, is meant to really inform how they're thinking about the Northgate redevelopment. So this being right across the street from our site, I think we're pretty excited about, and hopefully this will be a big benefit to everyone. I did see a few questions come my way before this presentation today about green space and things like that. And I think quite clearly, as part of the Northgate redevelopment, there will be a lot of open space, or at least it's expected to be that way. For our project, the one I'm talking about today, since it's a single building, there's not as much public open space associated with that one, but in our phase 2, we do anticipate a pedestrian promenade and other amenities that will be a part of that project. So I would say that the green space in our project is forthcoming. The hockey facility, again, expected this summer. And then adjacent to our station is the Northgate Link Station. This project, Sound Transit actually purchased a part of the King County parcel and has been working diligently on this project for a number of years now. Service is expected to begin this fall, which will really, really help in terms of increasing access to the larger region. You know, trains are expected to arrive every 8 minutes. So that is a frequency with which you don't have to look for a schedule. You know, it'll be a 14-minute ride downtown. So that's faster than you could expect to drive down in Park, which is pretty exciting. As a part of the Northgate project, Sound Transit did construct a new 450 stall garage. And we, King County Metro, have a ground lease at Thornton Place for 300 stalls or 350 stalls of parking. So there is a long-term vision of having roughly somewhere close to 1,000 stalls of parking at the Northgate Link Station. But certainly we do anticipate redeveloping both pieces of our current park and ride. So while the new project in the phase 2 will probably have its own parking, I question, it's still open whether any of that will be additional commuter parking. And then I don't know how many of you have seen this construction happening, but the pedestrian bridge that is being built right now over I-5 will bridge both sides of the Northgate neighborhood. The bridge itself is 16 feet wide. And when I think of it, while it is bridging a larger span than what's at the UW station, it is similar in its design in that it's this big sweeping bike and pedestrian bridge that will connect right up into the second level of the Link Light Rail Station. And then there will be a cycle path all the way down to the sidewalk. So that's pretty exciting. And that is expected to open this fall as well. So diving into the project that we have on our site, what you're looking at right now is the current parking lot, and the site that I'm going to be talking about is effectively just the northern portion of the park and ride lot. You'll see the existing transit center is right adjacent, and what we expect, at least initially, is that will become a facility where we'll largely use it for bus layover until Linwood Link opens in a few years. And then as the transit-oriented development manager, my hope and dream would be to do something more with it. So that would be maybe a part of the phase 2, but likely a phase 3. So the project that I'm talking with you about today is a 232 unit mixed use building. It's specifically targeting households making 60% of the area median income or below. So right now, the mix is that 5% of the units target households making 30%, another 5% target folks making 50%, and the remainder is at 60%, which is considered workforce housing. It's a pretty cool building. It has a 10,000 square foot daycare center on the ground floor and an associated green space. So that should be a really fantastic amenity to families in the area. And then because it's an affordable housing building, there isn't parking associated. There will be some for the daycare drop off, but there aren't going to be parking stalls associated with the project for residents. So, and that is per Seattle code. It's not a requirement. I think importantly, when I look at this building and the unit mix, it's mostly studios and 1 bedrooms, but there are a number of 3-bedroom units, which don't happen very frequently in the market. So, effectively the 2 and 3 bedroom units are considered family-sized units. And we would hope to serve a number of families at this building who would then benefit from the great schools that are available nearby. The developer who is doing the day-to-day development of the project is Bridge Housing, and they're working with Community Roots Housing, who is a local operator of a number of different buildings, who will basically take over and manage that building once it's constructed. And then this is basically just a deep dive into our building. So again, what I'm really focused on today is the blue square. The building itself is just meant to be one phase of a larger, more comprehensive development, but certainly taken with all the development across the street and around this site, the immediate area of Northgate is going to change dramatically in the next 5 years or so. So it's pretty exciting. And then this is just a picture of a really early graphic. This is on Community Roots Housing website at this point, and the design team has been issued they now are moving on. They're in very early design. They are going to really speed up and get into sort of aggressively designing and getting ready for permitting once we bring the project to King County Council. And that is expected towards the end of the summer, early fall. But just so you all know, this, like I said, is targeting folks at 60% of the area median income. And so what that looks like from an income perspective is for a family of four, that's roughly $70,000 or below. So I think in that range, it's 35 to 71. And in terms of affordable rents, this is, I thought this might be informative for folks. These are the rent limits that Seattle's Office of Housing published in 2019. Because of COVID, they actually have maintained these rent levels. They will probably be updated because I'm sure they've gone up shortly. But for now, while we're still in this emergency state with COVID, they've been maintained. And so I think, you know, for folks that maybe are not as well versed in what this looks like, this means that for a one-bedroom apartment, folks making 30% of the area median are expected to pay about $725 a month. And for 60, you know, folks making 60%, a one bedroom is, you know, it's $1,400, $1,453 is what it says. So, you know, because our rents here in this area have gone up so dramatically, that doesn't actually sound that affordable to me, but certainly there are a number of households that would be really excited to have housing, new housing at these rent levels available in Northgate. And then this is the preferred site plan. Full disclosure, right now there are 3 separate site plans at play, but this is the one that everyone prefers. And just this morning, I was a part of a meeting with the permitting authority for the city of Seattle, and they seem to like this one as well. So you'll see that the daycare center is basically on 3rd Avenue. That's the front of it. There's a main common area that you can access from both the internal circulating road and off of 103rd. And then, you know, this is going to be a pretty nice building. It's a 7-story building. There's bike room, there's lots of amenity space, there's some green space for the residents, and again, an outdoor space for the daycare. And then, you know, as a part of any of these development projects, there's always community outreach. And this is well timed, although maybe it's a little bit short notice. Community Roots Housing is hosting some engagement. There's a survey on their website right now where you can dive in and give some feedback on the project, answer some questions. That's going to be available to the public for another week. And then tonight, actually, there's a Zoom meeting if you'd like to do another one to talk more about that project. And there's another one on Saturday afternoon the 20th. So once these 2 meetings are passed, there will still be opportunities probably to engage on this project. The schedule right now is, you know, right now they're very early in design. They're engaging the public just to let them know that they are sort of, the process is picking up and they're starting. They expect to be really hitting design and permitting for the entirety of 2021, 22. We think that once our King County Council action has taken place this summer, really that's when they'll have site control, if that officially, and they'll be able to really start investing a lot of money to get the project moving as quickly as they can. Right now, they expect to have their permits issued in the spring of 2023. And pretty much once their permits are issued, they'll begin construction. So construction is expected to take about 18 months, beginning in the spring of 2023. So that would, you know, that would basically put it at a construction completion in late 2024. And now that's really all I have, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Okay, we have one question from Lori about the affordable housing not having parking available. Mm-hmm. And she's wondering why that is.
Well, so parking is not required in the code. The site is right next to the light rail, and there's also a fantastic bus service that will be there. From an affordable housing developer perspective, parking is very expensive to construct, and projects are always looking to squeeze as many affordable housing units as they can out of the public subsidy available. And so it's seen as a benefit to the project that they don't have to build parking to go with it. And we've seen evidence in other projects that I've been a part of that have also not been parked, where close proximity, especially the light rail, but in Northgate's case, because there's such good bus service there also, you'd be surprised by how little demand they've actually had for their parking spaces. So we would hope that that actually it would turn out not to be as big an issue as it may seem, but certainly it does feel odd, especially now, to have a building in Northgate without parking. I will say it's more and more common in Seattle, though.
Okay, we have another question from another. So they're curious about any grocery stores that are planned to be built around the area.
Yeah, you know, I will tell you, full disclosure, I don't know much about the uses that are planned for the Northgate Mall redevelopment in specific. I don't know if there's a grocery store planned. I know that when we had initially accepted a proposal for the redevelopment of our phase 2 now, they had included provision for a grocery store. And I think that was smart because clearly there is growing demand, and certainly if it's not a need that's going to be met in our phase 2, I would imagine that one of the other developers that is actively working in this neighborhood will be seeking a grocery store. But to be fair, I don't know. I don't have confirmation. I think generally speaking, if one developer thinks it's a good idea and they don't meet that need, there is another one that's probably looking to meet that need. There's typically a lot of market research that goes into that.
We have a couple more.
Sure.
So another question about the bridge. Is that King County or Sound Transit's project, or is that a different group's project?
It's SDOT, so it's the Seattle Department of Transportation.
Okay.
But just so, I mean, I think it's really a black box for most folks. There is really, really extensive coordination between King County Metro, Sound Transit, the city of Seattle, really all these major partners. We meet together on a monthly, if not a couple times a month basis, and have for years. So there is an open line of communication about all these major infrastructure projects happening in Northgate, certainly.
Another one. So here we have another question about what kind of transportation is planned from light rail by bus or other means through Northgate area. This particular participant lives relatively nearby, but the hills can be very steep for them. So they're wondering how they'd be able to access the light rail from their house if they can't, get up the hill or go.
Mm-hmm. So right around the time that light rail opens, Metro will be having sort of a service change, and we will be, well, so I am happy to bring back and provide more information about the specific routes that will be feeding the Northgate Transit Center. I don't know off the top of my head all the specifics, but I do know that we have a real service mix-up that will take place right around the time that light rail starts. It's not quite exactly the same time. I think it may be a month before. And the intention of that is to better connect the community, the surrounding community, to the light rail station. So if that person that asked the question is in really close proximity to Northgate, but maybe up a hill, depending on where they are, most of the routes that would typically come through Northgate and go downtown will now feed the light rail station. So hopefully they would have access that way. But again, I'm happy to actually get that service information and provide that back to Aljoya.
I got another question. Do you know the name of the daycare center that's going to be opening and the timeline of when it will be opening?
So the daycare center should be opening in time with the building. So the building's expected to open towards the end of 2024. At this point, while Community Roots Housing may have an agreement with a daycare center, they haven't disclosed that to me. So right now, it may be speculative, but to be fair, there is a lot of demand for early learning centers, and typically it may well be that they have someone in mind, but I don't know yet who that would be.
Okay, and I wanted to add a quick note after from the previous question about people having trouble getting to the light rail.
Mm-hmm.
So Era Living or Aljoya would be able to provide transportation to the light rail for residents in the area. So that's one thing to know. That residents that live at Aljoya, excuse me. Okay, next question. There's another question about the hockey facility and where it's located in the on the map of the redevelopment. And other than just the practice arena, what else is going to be built there with the hockey?
So I was just, honestly, I was perusing their website last night to sort of better understand what was going in there. So I'm not an expert on what all is included with the ice hockey rink, although I do understand that there are going to be three different facilities, so 3 different sheets of ice, and there will be some retail space as well. So I think it's intended to be office space for the NHL. There is going to be 3 separate practice rinks, and then some community amenity space outside with some associated retail. And in terms of where it is, let me see if I can do this. This is going to test my technical expertise, guys. I believe it's 3 on this site. So it's really right at the edge is my understanding. But I was looking to confirm that last night, and to be fair, I did not confirm that. I didn't see a site plan specific to the ice rink. So I can see if I can dig in and find it. This again is from 2018, so it may have changed a little bit.
Is 3 where the JCPenney used to be?
Yes.
Okay, so that should give a good example where it might be for people.
Yeah.
I also want to add for everyone that we're still working on getting more information that Sarah can't provide today from, I guess, Simon or any other people working on the project. So if we can't answer all those questions today, we're working to get more information for everyone later.
Mm-hmm. I know Simon's under construction, but I did a pretty deep dive on what it was publicly available, and there wasn't much. So, I'm sure that as dates become more crystal for them, a lot more information will flow. But I was surprised at how little was actually publicly available for the Northgate redevelopment right now.
I have another question. With that map still up, can you I guess just point at what streets are where?
Sure. So this is Northeast 100th. This is 103rd. Oh, so the star is Aljoya, and this is 3rd Avenue right here.
And then we have another question. Will there be a charge for any of the parking? For
any of the parking? Well, so at this point, King County charges for permits, but we don't charge for parking. Long term, I don't know. Long term, we don't have a plan to begin charging for parking, but I can't preclude it. I don't know if that would happen. Right now, there's not, though. And there hasn't, in the history of King County, they have not charged for parking unless you're going to purchase a permit. And that's a pretty minimal fee.
Sorry, with that map still up,
Mm-hmm.
someone is asking, can you just give a little arrow to where 5th Avenue is on the map?
5th Avenue, do you see my, well, it's right up here.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and another question with that map up. So M1 and M2, are those part of King County's development and Sound Transit?
They're not. This is so, that's what's tricky about this. And I think understandably, The Northgate Mall redevelopment is so interesting and so catalytic because it's such a big piece of property. What I did find is that I actually found a number of conflicting accounts of exactly how much is being redeveloped, but it's something close to 41 acres, which is very different. So for example, the blue parcel where our affordable housing project is going is just a little bit larger than a single acre. So, in terms of scale, I think the Northgate redevelopment is so interesting because it is so big. And it really, whereas we have one building going up, there are many, many, many buildings coming as a part of the redevelopment over there. And I think also, the one thing I didn't include here, just so you all know, as you look at this map, the pink buildings are existing buildings that are staying. The white ones are new. So
Okay.
that's
One more
good context.
I got one more question in regard to the light rail. So I know you mentioned that it should be coming every 8 minutes, but will it be running 24/7? Is it wheelchair accessible?
It is wheelchair accessible, yeah. Typically in the Sound Transit stations, there will be both an elevator, probably also, the ramping, the bike and ped ramping that comes down off of the pedestrian bridge is also going to be accessible, although certainly the elevator is maybe the preferred path. In terms of 24-hour service, Sound Transit to date operates from 1 a.m. until 5 a.m. So there are some hours in there where they're not operating. And I anticipate that it will stay that way, because I haven't heard anything about it changing its hours of operation.
All right. Do we have any more questions? If you have any more questions, please write them in the chat. We'll give a couple more minutes while we wait for any more questions, and then we'll continue.
Sure.
Okay, we have a question. So what is the timing for the building to be completed?
The building is expected to be completed by roughly the end of 2024. So third quarter, end of third quarter, beginning of fourth quarter.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. So I guess we have a question about shopping, and maybe in regards to shopping centers, if you know anything about what might be leaving or anything that might, be added or removed.
I was thinking this is what was really tricky. I was doing some research to see if I could get in contact with someone at Simon or to see if I could get some more information. We don't have a lot of good information about what they're planning in terms of, what's specific retailers that'll be a part of the Northgate redevelopment. I don't know. I am really curious, and I know that the redevelopment in its full build out, is a combination of office, retail, residential. I think there are about 900 residential units that were planned at one point. But I don't know the specifics of the retailers that are going to be back in that space.
I want to say again to everyone that Aljoya has been working on getting a representative to speak further on the mall redevelopment. So in maybe a future webinar, we'll have more info on that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I apologize. I wish I had better information about that.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, I guess we can conclude now. Sarah, you can stop sharing your screen now if you'd like.
Okay.
All right. as we have no more questions, thank you again, Sarah, for incredibly informative presentation today. I think we all learned something new. We will be emailing everyone an evaluation form, and we would love to hear your feedback on this presentation, as well as any suggestions for any future Zoom presentations. If you have any questions about Aljoya Thornton Place or would like a tour, please call us at 206. Sorry, my video is off. Sorry. 206-306-7920. Again, I'm DeWitt Wesson, the Community Relations Associate at Aljoya Thornton Place, and this concludes today's presentation. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you all again for future Zoom events. And until we meet again in person. All right. Have a good day, everyone, and thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And also, just a reminder, if you feel like taking that survey about the project or tuning in to another Zoom call tonight, I don't know if the presentation will be available, but if you visit Community Roots Housing's website, there's information on the Northgate project and links to both the meeting tonight, the one on the 20th, and the survey.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Sure thing. Thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.